Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Let's Max Warframe. Today we're going to be revisiting a weapon that I reviewed in one of my earliest Let's Mod videos, as requested by Dark Kokoro 84, the Corpus Assault Rifle, the Dera. Now, as I mentioned, I have done a first look at this weapon previously, and I'm going to leave a link to the video in the description below. But let's just remind ourselves a quick few features of the Dera. The Dera is a puncture based weapon dealing 22 damage a shot. Comes with pinpoint accuracy, no recoil and no bullet spread. It also comes with a fairly low flight speed of the rounds it fires, requiring significant leading of targets. Plus the damage itself really is on the extreme low end of the scale in terms of comparable rifles. Now, in my previous video I talked about the trick with the Volt Shield. However, this appears to not actually work anymore. I'm not sure if that's intentional, and I've personally not seen it mentioned in any patch notes. However, it really does affect the long range potential of this weapon, and hopefully it is a bug that they will actually fix fairly soon. Okay, so let's move on to starting to look at how we're going to mod the Dera. Now for this build, there isn't any polarities on the weapon as standard, so I've had to add in 7 former to be able to go with this max elemental build that I've gone with here. We've added 4 Vs and 3 dashes to the weapon. Now we've got 4 mods that are going to remain the same between all 3 of our builds. We've got Serration, Split Chamber, Heavy Caliber and Shred. And for our Grenier build we're going to go with Cryo-Rounds and Infected Clip for viral damage, Stormbringer and Hellfire for the radiation damage. For Corpus we're going to go with Cryo-Rounds and Stormbringer to bring up magnetic damage, and Malignant Force and Infected Clip for that toxin damage for the fleshier units. And for our Infested and Void build we're going to go with Malignant Force, Infected Clip, Stormbringer and Hellfire, which is going to bring up corrosive damage and that extra little bit of heat damage against those units in the Void. Now the use of Heavy Caliber is something that is very much personal preference. I like having it on there as a shorter range weapon, even though the accuracy does hit this weapon very hard, as you can actually see in the videos. However, I like to have it on there because of that extra damage. If you wanted to, you could always remove that, and then you could even put in another one of the dual stat elemental mods, such as High Voltage on our Void build, which is going to give you more corrosive damage and more status, but you are going to lose elemental damage because the Heavy Caliber boosts both elemental and physical damage. But this is very much personal preference. If you want a more accurate longer range weapon, plus this would actually cut down on at least 2 former, then this is probably the best build for you. However, if you like the very close range, very high damage build with the loss of accuracy, then Heavy Caliber is definitely the option to go for there. Now onto my recommendation as to whether the Dera is worth the substantial construction costs plus the large amount of former required to max out this weapon. And I'm going to say not really. For the amount of time, effort and materials put into this weapon, I feel that it should perform much better than it already does. The damage is okay but not amazing, which quite frankly after 7 former it should be comparable to similarly formatted weapons, but the Dera falls so far short in this, it's unreal. Now I'm not saying that the Dera is a terrible weapon though, and that's important to remember, but I feel that it should be quite a bit stronger after all the time and effort invested into the weapon. I don't understand the reason that Heavy Caliber is so detrimental to the Dera. The weapon as a standard has 100% accuracy, and it is super pinpoint accurate. But as soon as you introduce the Heavy Caliber, it becomes a slightly heavier hitting Supra. Now the amusing thing about this is that with a 2.3 second reload, no spool uptime and a bit more damage, the Dera with Heavy Caliber is actually a better Supra than the Supra is. Now, this weapon doesn't have to be modded in the way that I've done in the video, however. This is an absolute sort of short range max damage build. If you want to keep it pinpoint accurate, you can remove Heavy Caliber and replace it with maybe an elemental mod if you want. You could also replace it with ammo mutation, since on longer missions you're going to be going through ammo restores at a pretty quick rate due to the fire rate increase of Shred. You can even replace the elemental mods for more of a status build, especially if you're going to be removing that Heavy Caliber. So I can hear you asking, why did I show this build for the weapon if it's not the best build for it? And that's purely because I don't think there is an absolute best build for the Dera. This is an absolute max damage build for the weapon, and something that if I'm going to use the Dera, this is the build that I'm going to use. And does reasonably well up until about wave 20, 25, 30 of Tower 4 defense. And if I need something for a longer range, then I'm going to take something that is hit scan, like maybe a Soma, or even a sniper like the Vectis or the Volcar. So in essence, a solid assault rifle, if a bit expensive. The Dera is going to deal with most situations pretty well up to a fairly reasonable level. It just falls a bit short when compared to other maxed assault rifles. It's not bad, but it's difficult to recommend this weapon after that mini former. However, if you want a better Supra, then the Dera might be right up your alley. As always guys, many thanks for watching. Please don't forget to leave a like and to subscribe, it helps me out a ton. And I shall see you in the next episode.